Ladies and gents and everything in between, welcome back to the Alternative Paper Review, the show in which we take the front page stories from all of the hate rags, the 2 digits of fascism and f***ery, and just put it down your throat like some sort of force-feeding mafia guy. Force-feeding you the news or something. Let's take a look at what's on the front page of the papers today, shall we? First up to the Mail today. Benefits bill is on course to rocket by £18 billion a year. 18 billion. Well, I don't see how we could afford that. I mean, that is almost 1/3 of Brexit every year. And do we even get a blue passport for this? For all this tax money? What do I get as a taxpayer? Is somebody going to give me a pint of champagne in a hamper decorated with rotting fruit? What do I get for this? It's a fifth, actually, isn't it? A fifth. 18 billion, 20 billion. That's a fifth of the cost of Brexit every year, which is 100 billion. Anyway, the Mail say spending on sickness benefits is on course to rise by 18 billion without reform. More than the entire police budget. Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall is facing a furious backlash from Labour MPs and campaigners who warn that cruel cuts, I love that they put cruel in speech marks like it's debatable. They warn that cruel cuts to disability benefits will drive hundreds of thousands of people into poverty. And, you know, as ever, the devil is in the detail with this sort of stuff, isn't it? I mean, here they are sort of clutching their pearls about the soaring cost of the benefits bill. But nowhere on this front page do they actually stipulate what is included in that increase, in that soaring burden that we're saddling the state with. Because the reality is that since the pandemic, approximately 1 million people have been diagnosed with long COVID. Then you've also got this whole subset of in employment, like that whole population, but they earn too little to actually survive, so they have their wages topped up with universal credit, which sort of distorts the picture. It's like most universal credit claimants are already in work. It's just that they earn so fucking little that they have to sign on with what is essentially like income support. Like you earn pittance, so here you go. Here's a check for like £30 a week to actually allow you to survive. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You're so generous. God bless you, sir. Oh, you're very welcome. Yes, and definitely consider it a benefit. So you got the increase in those people who claim UC, even though they are in employment. Then you've got a mental health epidemic, which rather than actually getting to the bottom of it, the Crayola right would rather sort of demonize, diminish, trivialize, disparage it, wouldn't they? You know, like, doctor, I wonder if you can help me. I'm really stressed, really anxious. Climate change is going to render the planet uninhabitable. I don't know what's going to happen to my kids. I'm not earning enough money. Tesco, Waitrose, Audi, wherever the fuck it is I work, this imaginary character. Audi are not paying me enough to get by. So I have to claim for universal credit, but now like all of the newspapers and the politicians are saying that I'm just lazy. So I don't even know if I'm going to have enough money to survive like next month or in 6 months' time. I'm feeling very stressed and anxious and the world is going to come to an end. And to be fair, like to date, the GPs have been like, wow, I mean, that is a lot. Sounds like your mental health is really going through a rough patch. Maybe I could prescribe you some of this stuff, and look, why don't you? I'll sign you off from work so you can, just have a few weeks to get your head together. And do you want to do some CBT, some cognitive behavioral therapy? And you're like, yeah, that's actually that might help. Yeah, maybe then I can review my options, just sort of take stock. And but no, rather than get to grips with or treat or medicate or diagnose the underlying issues of the mental health epidemic, instead, again, it's like these bloody lazy young whippersnappers are so bloody woke with their anxiety and their depression. Oh, poor me. Are you like, I mean, I am actually having a really hard time of it. Like, I'm worried what I might do to myself if I continue down this actually quite mentally dark road. And I did stay in for a year a couple of years ago to stop you and your friends from catching a cold. So yeah, there's a lot of trivializing it, the mental health stuff. But then also, I guess the most important component of this thing is, as we always talk about on this channel, the aging population. You know, it is a fact, an absolute fact. Doesn't matter what side of the political divide you choose to sit on. The facts of the current UK economy are that we're not having enough babies. We don't want any more immigrants in, apparently. And in that vacuum of young people flourishes tax rises and benefits bills, because the aging population, which are about, is it like 20%? 22% of the UK population at the moment are 65 years old or over. But that's going to go up to a quarter by the end of this decade. And as these people get older and they require more help with their disabilities, more help from the state, the benefits bill goes up, and then obviously so do taxes to try to handle that. And that's when you get people like Nick Ferrari on LBC going, oh, well, this is just ridiculous. £18 billion. Yeah. And we're like, yeah. This is what we're always trying to get through to you, Nick. And editors and political editors of the Daily Mail and readers of the Mail and the Express and the Sun, is if you don't want immigrants, if you've really got a problem with immigration, then you need to radically, quickly fix the housing crisis and socialise childcare. You need to make it easier for people to start having babies in the United Kingdom, because the absence of the babies equals de facto tax rises and benefits bills. So yes, I know, look, it might be uncomfortable for you to hear this. Maybe as I'm saying this to you, you're going to break out in fucking hives and herps. But the reality is, the economic reality is left wing, right? You need to socialise childcare. You're going to need some immigrants. And yes, if you are an Aldi or a Tesco and you're not paying your staff enough, to the extent that the state has to step in and top up those wages, then I'm sorry, we're going to need a little bit more state overreach. We're going to need to regulate that space, I'm afraid. Super quick 5-second advert, guys, just to ask you very nicely, if you're not subscribed, please do consider clicking the subscribe button, because 80% of the people that watch these videos are not yet subscribed, and it really helps the channel to grow. Cheers. Over to the star quickly. Kate out of Ascot. Oh. This doesn't sound good, does it? I mean, obviously, look, it goes without saying. We hope, we pray that Kate doesn't have any serious health problems like she did last time. I would never wish to be cruel on any of that nasty business. But I can't be alone in thinking, look, here it is, top right of the mirror as well. Kate puts health first. I can't be alone in thinking that this is what she did last time. Do you remember when she just, like, dramatically pulled out of a public appearance with no notice? Do you remember that? Or was it William? No, actually, it was William, wasn't it? He just pulled out of a public appearance. We still don't know what that was about. You know, some people say, oh, well, that was when she was first diagnosed with whatever the abdominal thing is, but they've never said what type of cancer it was, I don't think. They've never explained why she photoshopped that faked picture of her and why she wasn't wearing her wedding ring in it. Why she went so AWOL for all of those weeks and months. The whole where's Kate shit. A lot of people said, and look, I confess, I did sort of believe a lot of this stuff. I don't know if it's true. I feel like there will be something true to it, and it will come out in due course. But a lot of people were saying that William had an affair with Kate's former best friend, Rose Hanbury. And that was when it all blew up. That's when she found out about everything, and that's why she pulled out of a thing, and he dramatically pulled out of a thing. There was reports, not in the UK press, but in the international press, that she had actually moved out. She'd started living with her mum out in that, like, Berkshire or Buckinghamshire, like, farmhouse or something. Anyway, here we are now again, right? They're saying Kate puts health first. They're suggesting or alluding that it could be something to do with her reported cancer treatment or whatever. But this is the problem, right? With being, it's like a deal with the devil. You know, like she's married into this family. They have this attitude of like, never complain, never explain. In some ways, it's like they sort of, you know, they feel that they're above it. Like they shouldn't have to divulge certain bits of information. It's their own private business. And that's fine. Like, I get that. But in me sort of understanding that, I feel like the royals and royalists need to accept that their deal with the devil is like they get to live in nice castles and palaces and they get to just drain funds. I mean, we're talking about benefits, right? Is the sovereign grant included in that £18 billion a year increase? Does that include the sovereign grant? These people drawing down money from the public purse. Does it? No? Okay. But yeah, they need to accept that part of the deal is that they get to live in these nice castles with their butlers and their Order of the Garter events and Trooping the Colour and all the rest of it. But the flip side is that if they want to roll out this never complain, never explain style of PR, in that space, in that vacuum, steps conspiracy theory and misinformation and speculation. So yes, anyway, there's your royal news for today. Kate has dramatically last minute pulled out of Ascot, guys. And it must be really, really upsetting, particularly for Charles. Because I know that, you know, he really appreciates Kate when she's up in the stands, you know, next to him with her hat and just sort of, you know, cheering on the jockey as he rides and races Camilla. Finally to The Guardian today. I may do, I may not. Trump keeps the world waiting on whether or not the US will join Israel's war on Iran. Which is, you know, a bit fucking weird, really, isn't it? Weird mental conduct. Weird, very sociopathic behavior from the President of the United States of America. You know, to see him ostensibly sort of, you know, flip a coin on whether or not to really, really kick off in earnest this World War III situation. I don't know, you know, I may do, I may not. I haven't decided yet. Applying the same level of consideration and compassion to whether or not he's going to invade Iran as you or I might if we were trying to decide whether to have a Chinese on Friday night. Like, I might do. I don't know. I'll see how things play out, I think. I'll see what my gut's saying. See what my gut feel is about a Chinese or an Indian. I don't know. I don't know the future. I'll see how I feel. You know, I'll check in with Benji. I'll see what Benji's saying. You know, does anybody know if Benji, does he like egg fried rice and pork balls? Actually, you know what? He probably doesn't do the pork balls, does he? Also on the front page of The Independent, I may do it, I may not. Trump taunts Iran over airstrikes. President scoffs at the Ayatollah's threat of irreparable harm if US joins Israeli attacks on nuclear targets and claims the next week is going to be very big as Iran derides the US's call for unconditional surrender. I mean, here's my question for you guys, right? Here's what I'm going to leave you on. What do you think's going to happen, right? When you've got Iran warning of irreparable harm to the United States. And the US is saying that they've got nukes, right? If we take the US, if we take Trump at his word, then Iran are a nuclear power. So if they're saying like irreparable harm, where do you think that's headed? But equally, if you've got Trump saying that what he wants is an unconditional surrender to the United States and Israel, what do you think it is that they're looking for? Like, what happens when you've got two unstoppable forces at terminal velocity or whatever that physics question is? What happens? Like, it honestly could be. This has all of the potential, all of the components necessary for this to result in the end of the world as we know it. Right? It's like, wow. And then they wonder why people are getting signed off with anxiety.
Hey yo, it's the alternative paper review. Coming in for you every day is the truth. Roasting the Tories, bring you the stories. A. Thompson talking blue in the room. Dude in the shed, big ears with a brew. Drunk off his head, it appears had a few. Age 42, saying what's new.